This is our disclaimer. We are not professional psychologists, but we care about mental health issues. We both want to see the narrative surrounding the taboos about mental health are changed. We will be sharing tips based on reliable research and, of course, our personal experiences. We want a generation of Africans that are fully intentional about mental health, physical health, well being, and personal growth. My name is Aisha, and I welcome you to Mind Over Matter NG.
Let's talk about mental health. Mind Over Matter is a mental health awareness campaign created by young Nigerians, where no auntie or uncle will shame you or accuse you of having evil spirits. This is a safe space for honest conversations about mental health, how to spot signs of someone struggling, and also how you can help and where you can seek help. Hopefully, this podcast will motivate you, educate you, and heal you of all your troubles. If not, it will at least get you through a car ride. Either way, we think you should listen.
Welcome back to Mind Over Matter NG, where we will dive into the depths of mental health with compassion, insight, and understanding. We are your hosts. My name is Aisha Sambo.
And I am Khadija Abdullahi.
And today we're just here to catch up, actually, just for a bit, but with some context, and hopefully you get to learn something along the way. We're so sorry for our consistent viewers. I know you've been wondering where we've gone off to. Today, we are exploring the challenges we face as young individuals dealing with challenges within the context of real friendships. From the pressure to appear strong to the fear of being labeled as weak, Khadija and I will ask each other 3 questions and we'll share a story about a friend who has dealt with the question being asked. So let me start with you, Khadija. I want to talk about, or rather, I want to ask you about insomnia, right? I feel even with the heat right now in Abuja, so hard to sleep. And I'm just wondering, have you had a friend who's dealt with insomnia? Do you have a story you can share with us about that?
So, yeah, I have quite a handful of people who are struggling with insomnia. But for this episode, I am choosing to talk about one particular one because I feel like young people deal with this a lot. So let me just get right into it. So, I know this person. I don't want to either say it's a guy or a girl, but I know this person in university. This person was going through a lot, I could tell. This person was basically looking for an escape, just to find an option, just to find something that will make this person sleep. I, for a fact, know that a lot of people deal with insomnia. I also have dealt with insomnia a few times. I am a work in progress, but this person went as far as, smoking weed just because he or she felt that was the option that would work. And mind you, this person actually had tried a few things. And I remember when we were having this conversation, someone just, you know how you'll be talking to a friend about it and then about anything, and then someone will be like, oh, have you tried this? So, that was how the whole conversation around weed started. This person was like, oh, you should try weed. The person tried it a couple of times. It worked. I don't know if this person still uses marijuana, but I know for a fact that this person told me how it was working wonders for the person at the time. So yeah, I know someone might be listening to this dealing with insomnia. I have dealt with it, and I know it's such a terrible feeling because you will just not be in the mood. You'll be pissed off so easily. Your eating pattern will be disrupted as well. You will just find life very unbearable. But I just want you to know that if you're dealing with this, there's a way out of it. You can reach out to someone. You can go to a hospital and get drugs. I know there are certain options for you to try out. And, in summary, just seek for help. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Can you tell me a time where your friend dealt with loss?
Okay, so I think I want to speak about someone I'm very close to, actually. And I don't know if you're listening to this and maybe able to relate with this friend of mine. We're very close. And I've always known her to be someone who's afraid. Her mom is going on a flight, she's afraid. Her friend is traveling, or I'm traveling, and I didn't call her before I land, she's scared. So she's in a constant fear of losing someone. And I think it's because she doesn't know how well she may deal with the situation. And I remember when her grandma passed away, actually, I would say she was the bravest she's ever been. So I don't know, sometimes you feel like you're weak because of certain fears, but you'll just be surprised that maybe that fear was building you up to the biggest moment of your life where you have no choice but to be strong about it. And I know it's not enough to just say, be strong, you've lost someone. Yeah, just be strong, because everyone around you will actually go saying, be strong. So I think my advice to someone, who's lost a loved one, or if your friend has lost a loved one, you need to allow them time to grieve. I find this very rare in Nigeria, both on the Christian and Muslim side. When someone, Islamically, you bury someone almost immediately, and there's that rush of people coming to your house, praying for you. That's fine, but it's important to allow people grief. So understand that grief is a natural process, and just give yourself permission to feel that range of emotion that comes with loss. I would also say try to remember the good times. I remember the good times that I had with my friend and her grandma, and that tends to bring me a lot of comfort. And I just hope that she also, remembers the good times whenever she feels down or sad about that loss. So reflect on positive memories always, and celebrate the life and legacy through creative expressions. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I think it is important to know that grief looks different for people. It is not a one size fits all type of thing. So just take your time, like she said, and remember the good times.
Wonderful. My question for you, Khadija, is, let's see, I think I want to ask you about a friend who's maybe recovering from heartbreak or has gone through a heartbreak. So I always find that an interesting topic because of the range of emotions that come with dealing with a heartbreak. Do you have a story for us?
I will always have stories. I want to talk about this particular person, and if this person is listening to me, this person will obviously know I'm talking about her. But yeah, we were really close in uni, and she was dating this amazing person who, I think, just on a side note, he was trying to manipulate her. So this guy had a health condition, and it was really intense. Their relationship was very intense. They were planning on getting married, but there were certain things that happened that made me think he was manipulative. And I know I'm not supposed to judge, but from where I was, there were certain things that were not adding up to me. And she was always complaining. She had good times, obviously, but she was also complaining about the fact that he was always using his illness to try to pin her down into the relationship.
That's horrible.
Yeah, like he was always making comments about, she cannot leave him because if she leaves him, he will die. So imagine dating someone with a heart problem, and then the person tells you that if you leave me, I will die. She had to be with him just because of that. Her being with him, she had no eyes for anyone but him. It was that serious. But thankfully she broke it off with him, and he did not die, guys. He did not die. He's married to someone. But the point is, you might be single right now and be wondering, something is wrong with me that I'm single. I always say that it is important to be the person you want to date. Find time to just take care of yourself and don't rush into any relationship.
I have never heard of such a story in my life. Someone suffering from a heart disease and is quote unquote blackmailing someone else. Real life stories over here. Yeah, I've already told myself a long time ago that I can't get heartbroken again from being in a relationship, because I think it's the expectation that comes with that happily ever after, roses and rainbows. My perception definitely of, love or heartbreak has really changed, and I feel very much in control of myself and, yeah, the people that I love. Not that I'm controlling people that I love, but I can control my emotions towards the people that I love the most. Next question is for me.
Can you describe to me a time in your life where you experienced a friend being bullied?
Are you sure I won't talk about my own bullying story? No, I think I've had my fair share of that, speaking about that on other platforms. And I do write about it in my book as well. So, throughout, I guess, secondary school, I've definitely seen how bullying can, affect people. And I don't want to mention anyone specific because I was personally bullied in secondary school, verbally bullied. And yes, I still talk about it because I'm actually seeing a counselor because of it. It took me a while to build this level of confidence for myself. I wasn't as confident when I was in university. And I think it's because of the role those bullies played in my life. So I'm just going to go straight into the things that you should do if you're being bullied right now or if your friend is being bullied. Number one, I think, is to reach out to adults, parents, teachers, your counselors at schools or mentors. You don't have to suffer in silence. And I know that sometimes, especially now in this digital age, the fear is you don't want to be a snitch, right? You don't want to go and report somebody to someone else. This is your life, and you need to speak up if you're being bullied in a way that is uncontrollable. Sometimes I find also documenting the bullying incidences useful, because in the moment you're being bullied, you may not remember a lot of things because you're going through a lot in that moment. So trying to write it down as soon as it happens, careful documentation is very useful when reporting bullying to the authorities so that they can intervene. So I mentioned confidence earlier, and I just think it's important to focus on developing your self-confidence and resilience through activities that showcase your strengths and talents. And if you're young, you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, I don't know my strengths and talents. There are so many questionnaires out there that can help you. You just answer a few questions. The algorithm will tell you what it thinks your strengths and talents are. One of my favorite ones is 16 personalities. So it's free as well. So if you just search for 16 personalities online, you can actually discover what your strengths are. And surround yourself with positive friends. And I think that the last thing I'll say, which is something that I'm also still trying to get a hold of myself, I noticed that I wasn't good at setting boundaries with people, especially people I love and people that are close to me. I think it's important to clearly communicate your boundaries and, assertively stand up for yourself and avoid it escalating into a conflict. Did I answer that right?
Yeah, you did perfectly. And maybe you can learn some self defense. Just.
Just in case, right? Self-defense, that's a good one. All right, so we've spoken about bullying. Khadija, I think I want to ask you about bad eating habits. I remember a time in my life where my eating habit was really bad, and it was because my mom was in and out of hospital for quite some time. She was ill, and I just found comfort in eating. Eating, put on so much weight. And I'm just wondering if you've had a friend that's gone through that and maybe how they dealt with it.
This is such a sensitive, topic because very few people are comfortable enough to speak to you about how they feel generally, when it comes to like mental health. I have gotten a few comments personally. So this particular question, I'm going to talk about myself because it just makes a lot of sense to talk about myself. While I was in uni, I was skinny at some point. So my weight was fluctuated. And then I graduated from uni and I remember I was dating someone who, at the time, I want to believe that he was saying it from a place of love. He would make comments like he likes thick girls. And because I had a very fragile sense of self, I've been bullied as well. So when you were talking about the bullying aspect, I kind of relate to it. So when he would make certain comments and when other people would make comments about that, I would feel very insecure about myself. I remember going through the internet for like things I could do to get fat, to get thick, just because I wanted that validation.
Girl, people are trying to lose weight. You're trying to gain weight?
Crazy, I know. So yeah, I went online, I checked, and at the time there was this crazy drug. I'm not going to call the name just just because I just remembered. I'm not trying to promote the drug, but yeah, I bought the drug at the time because it was so promoted, like online there were so many ads on it. It got very expensive, but luckily I had like 2 bottles, so when I was buying it I bought 2 bottles. And do you know that after I took 1 bottle, shoo, I was thick like an agric chicken.
You probably look like Rosie in the house.
Seriously, I loved how I looked, except the stomach. So one of the side effects of the drug is that it makes you have a belly. And then you sleep endlessly. I remember a time my mom was so pissed that all I was doing was sleeping and eating. And she was like, look at your stomach. She was saying it in Hausa. Look at how fat your stomach is. You know, she kept on complaining. Then I became very insecure about my stomach. And funny story, I posted a picture of me and I posted it on Instagram. A senior from my secondary school, she saw the post and said, congratulations, you look heavy with a baby. Girl, and I deleted that photo and I never uploaded it till date. I got fat, and then because I was so insecure about my belly, I started going to the gym. Thankfully, I had a gym close to the estate, so I would go to the gym. I started working out. I met amazing people. The point is, during that period, I noticed that everybody was insecure. It's either you're insecure about how your teeth looks, your dentition, or your tummy, or your eyebrow. There was always something. I feel like at the end of the day, we need to love ourselves as we are. Currently, I am struggling to gain some weight because I have lost so much weight. Last year, I was diagnosed with extreme PTSD because I had a couple of things that happened to me. And I didn't even know at the time it affected my eating habits. Till date, I still struggle to eat. And one of the things that has helped me is I always try to take snacks in my bag, maybe an apple, granola bar, or I make a parfait or chai pudding and put it in like a takeaway pack. I just move around with things that I know I can munch on. I know it's very in-depth, like we'll probably dissect this thing maybe when we have a professional on the podcast. If we decide to talk about it, it's going to take like 2 hours. My advice to anyone listening is go easy on yourself, seek help, go to the hospital, see a counselor or a therapist. There are a couple of people that Aisha and I recommend, and we'll leave all the details in the show notes, of course. Yeah, just love yourself. I know it's hard to even take that. Hearing myself say it, it's making me cringe. I'm a work in progress, and if you're dealing with this, just seek for help.
Wow. I would have never thought there was a time in your life where you tried to gain weight. And I just wanted to let you know that, like, whether you're 80 kg or 50 kg, you're still a beautiful KD. And yeah, I'm happy for your growth. I know you say you're a work in progress, but yeah, I would say from the last time I even saw you, you've definitely put on some weight. Yeah, like you look good. I wouldn't say you looked worse or better. You look good. Yeah, so keep it up, whatever you're doing. I think you have one more last question for me, but we're over time. So what's the question?
So right now in Nigeria, I know there's this level of brokenness that is going around. The inflation is crazy. Our president is not helping matters. A lot of things.
What do you mean our president is not helping matters? No. No. He's doing the best he can, Khadija. Our president is a human being with emotions. And can you imagine the amount of pressure on his head? I'm sorry, I just had to intervene because I love our president and I see him doing amazing things. And okay, I'm just going to stop now because I don't like the looks I'm getting. But my final take is he's a human being too with mental issues too. So let's try to be more positive and support him. It's not just Nigeria going through an economic downturn, it's the entire world. Just reminding us about that very important fact.
Anyways, the question I have for you is, have you ever experienced a level of brokenness that you cannot really, put together? Or has anyone around you been through that?
Yeah, a friend of mine, her younger sister got married, and she had never been as broke as she was in her entire life. And I remember asking her, like, but it's your money. Nobody forced you to fund your sister's wedding. I mean, you have parents that can do that. You come from a well-off family. So how did you become broke? And she told me she just loves her sister so much and really wanted her to just have the best on her wedding day, not really thinking about her own future at that time. And I say this a lot about money. People think that money is graphs and numbers, but money is very psychological. So I just feel like if you don't put a stand, a limit to what is going to be enough for you to spend as your income or profit or whatever, then money will teach you that lesson. Yes, money will teach you that lesson. So I think it was even from having these conversations with my friend that I realized the importance of creating a budget for yourself. So, if you want to elevate your income and expenses, you have to create a realistic budget for yourself and prioritize on the essential things like food, shelter, utilities. You need to look for areas where you can cut back on non-essential spending. And believe you me, this friend of mine, she literally printed her bank statements for the past 4 years. She says she wants to know, where did the money go? The top thing was Ashobi and eating out. So, she had to cut down. She had to be real to herself. Like, eating out is taking a chunk load of my money, and I need to change this behavior. The final thing I'll say is develop money management skills. So educate yourself about personal financing, budgeting, saving, and investment. I also blame some parents, if I'm being honest, African parents. This is something we don't talk about. As a mommy, daddy, uncle, auntie, you don't sit us down to talk about money.
Then there's this amount of pressure that you need to make it. And then you don't teach us how to manage it when we make it.
How does it make sense? Make it make sense, African parents, I beg. And this is not to all African parents. I'm just saying the majority. Trust me, when was the last time you created a budget for the month with your teenage or close to 20-year-old daughter or son? It starts from the home. Charity begins at home. So yeah, educate yourself about personal financing, budget, savings, and investment. And consider seeking guidance from financial advisors or attend a workshop or something. And just because you're broke right now, or just because you don't have money right now, trust me, it's not the end of the world. So just to wrap up, because we're way over time, Khadija, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. You can listen to us on Anchor, Apple Podcast, or YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel. It's Mind Over Matter NG. You can also find us on Instagram and Clubhouse. We know we told you to expect at least one episode from us every month. And the reason why we haven't been consistent is because Khadija and I are currently the only ones funding this podcast. And it's not easy. It's not been easy. We do need a lot of support to get this podcast to the level that we desire it to be. So if you would like to contribute to our growth, if you love this story, this brand, and the initiative, please email us at mindmatterng@gmail.com. We thought it would be important to shed a light on the importance of understanding, acceptance, and support in breaking down these barriers when it comes to dealing with friends that might be struggling with one mental issue or another. So sit back, open your minds, and let's explore the journey of overcoming the stigmas surrounding mental health in Nigeria and across Africa, right here on Mind Over Matter NG. Until next time,
Peace, love, namaste.